Hi guys and welcome back. Brian Fellows here, and today we're doing another build video for Marvel Heroes Omega. This time we are with Hawkeye. He's a member of the Avengers and I've dubbed this build Trickshot Mcgee. Today we'll be going over his skills, talents, some possible synergies you could use, as well as the infinity points I had, and we're just going to get into it, starting with his skills. Alright, so on his triangle, as you can see, is Boomerang Arrow. Pierce enemies with a vicious titanium tipped arrow that comes back to hit you in the end. It does a lot of damage, 8 to 12,000, and 100% chance to spend a trick arrow head if available. On my circle, I have his dash. Basically, this just gives him more attack and movement speed, allowing him to get out and then re-engage if he chooses. For X, I have his spammable basic attack, which is called Serrated Arrow, and it has a critical damage of 50%, and you can attack 3.1 per second. Not bad numbers for damage, but again, you only use it so often, and I'll show you whenever we go over the rotation. Next, we have Explosive Arrow on the square. You shoot an arrow that explodes when they impact enemies, reducing their ability to defend themselves. Almost 9,000 to 13,000. It also increases their vulnerability, making them receive 10% more damage, and it makes rocket arrow or boomerang arrow use an explosive arrow when you fire them. On my back bar, I have rocket arrow on the square. What this does is it charges up and launches a rocket propelled arrow that launches through enemies and has an enhanced chance to critically hit. Damage does 27 to 41,000, not bad. It does 100% more if it's fully charged, and the critical hit chance on it's 10%. If it has a trick arrow head available, it will use it. And on the L2 and X, we have 3 arrow burst. It's rapidly knock and loose these 3 trick arrows at your target, perfect for neutralizing even the most powerful of foes. It does the freeze, electric, and explosive arrow, all with their varying damage values. It has a cooldown of 4 seconds. On the circle, we have his signatures. Stark Tech Claymore turret. Basically, this is exactly what it sounds like. You throw out a turret that just shoots in a big AoE around it, clearing out any trash or low health enemies, doing 20,000 damage twice per second. And then for his final move, we have Overwhelming Force. Skewer multiple enemies once by unleashing a fist of arrows in a broad fan formation. Fires each of the trick arrows as well as Shrieking Arrow and Nerve Gas. This slows the enemy's movement and attack speed by 50%. Has a cooldown of 8 seconds. Alright, so you saw how that one had Shrieking Arrow. You'll understand with the talents why I don't have that on my bar. And speaking of talents, let's get into it. I chose Muscle Memory instead of Can't Miss. Can't Miss just adds 10% crit on all arrow powers. Nice extra damage, but I like health and survivability, especially if you're getting ready to go into Cosmic Trials. The bottom one, it's nice, but it's not as good as getting the health. I prefer survivability equals sustained damage and able to stay in the fight longer, increasing DPS values. I went with Make 'em Count for my second one. Trick arrowheads deal 30% more damage, and they gain the total effect. Total damage is 100%, so all those that are highlighted get 100% more damage. Cool, right? Then you get 2. Cooldown of 8 seconds. I didn't like this because it fired too slow and the damage was too low, so speed draw is out. Combat training, basically it turns him into a melee character, and you're not an archer and doing melee. That's weird. It doesn't make sense. Same thing is why I didn't choose this, because that makes him go invisible and I didn't like it. So this one, extra impact, 3 arrow burst generates 2 random trick arrowheads, You could use this one, but I didn't like it having 2 charges as I already have another ability that has 2. So instead I went with Thread the Needle. Thread the Needle gives the rocket arrow a chance to charge up to 100% faster. So before I had this on, it took like 2 seconds to charge up. Now it takes roughly 1 second, maybe like 1.25 or 1.5 seconds. Anyways, it's way faster and it increases its damage by 50%. And then it gives Boomerang Arrow, which is also on my bar, plus 2 charges. You'll see why that's important. It also increased the damage by 50% for Boomerang Arrow. For my next one, I have Gemini Turret Arrow. So it gives the basic attack a chance to fire additional arrows, meaning instead of him just shooting one at a time, he'll fire more. And whenever you use your signature, it will make it happen 100% of the time for the entire duration of your signature. That's why I like this one. Some people will disagree and they'll say, oh, I want streamlined model. It is a perfectly viable option if you like that, but to me, yes, it loses 20-second cooldown and it loses 2-second duration. I couldn't see the damage output being more with this, so I went with this one. To me, the damage output was a little less than this because if you're firing a rotation and you're basic attacking, you're going to get way more DPS out in the meantime. Plus, it allows you to keep a solid, steady rotation, allowing you to keep that damage up, whereas with this, you're just throwing it out there because it came up in 15 seconds and it's like 6 seconds of damage. Not that great. Once every 3 seconds you generate a trick arrowhead. Again, not near as nice as this. It just picks one and it does it. Didn't like it. For the last one, I chose Overwhelming Force because it turns Wave of Arrows into... Basically, it fires all of those that are highlighted on the left. The Electric, the Explosive, Nerve Gas, Frozen, and the Shrieking Arrow. And it has a cooldown of 8 seconds. You can fire every one of your trick arrows and in one attack. So why really have them on your bar? Other than Explosive Arrow, which is on my front, that's why I kept that back there. You could use this, but I didn't like Shrieking Arrow after I found out what this talent did. I thought it was way more damage appropriate, and it did basically the same effect, except this one just lowers its cooldown. Reposition and re-engage. Basically, it adds a 10-second cooldown on this, and it triggers your medkit. Cool if you want like a melee archer. Doesn't really help if you're melee. You're going to be up in the thick of it, taking way too much damage, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to die. This allows you to remain far away and through your attacks, and if you need to get away because some of those bombs are coming in the Cosmic Trial, you can easily dash away because the Shrieking Arrow is going to taunt all of them away. His ultimate, Avenging Arrow, basically puts a big A like that symbol right there up on the ground, and it does massive damage, but unfortunately you can't use them in trials. His synergies, this was my first character and I didn't have any synergies unlocked or available to me. Since then I've leveled up 3 additional characters, but I don't have one on here because it doesn't help me and there's no reason to put it on there because he does melee damage. And if you guessed Nightcrawler, then you are correct. But the people I do have help a little bit. I have Deadpool, who gives me 2.5 explosive power damage and 0.25 health regen a second. Health regen's not why I really kept him on there. It's more or less the explosive power damage, because my talents and my explosive arrow will proc this and give me extra damage. I have Gambit just because he was on there and I just leveled him up second, so I was like, oh, this is cool, I get to put all these in there. He doesn't really give me anything except for 5 additional credits whenever I'm in the patrols or operations. And of course, the character I'm on, Hawkeye. 2% movement speed with 3% critical damage. That's an incredible trait for your synergy, and you'll see with the gear I'm about to go over what is important to build and look for in gear. To find your traits, you'll go into your powers and you'll hit the triangle button. On the far left side, you'll see he has an extra 3% critical hit chance, as well as the 4% for fighting or intelligence. You want those numbers to be as high as possible. That's why mine says 136%. It means I'll do that much extra damage on top of everything else. And all of that is thanks to my gear. In order to pull up your stats like this, you'll hit the L3 button on your inventory sheet and it shows you. I have 25 intelligence. That was one of his main attributes that we just talked about over here. Fighting or intelligence. Big tip. If you're going to build into it, look at your traits, see what you need. Alright, so everything I have in here is I got from like half an hour to an hour after I got through the cosmic trial. I went in there, I went into the patrol, and I just picked everything up. Except for like one of these or two, I ran through some operations. Same thing with this, it was in an operation. But I'll show you what I have on now and why I like it. For this, he uses advanced technological systems. This one just gives me the lifesteal, and I thought that would be slightly helpful since I do basic attack every now and then. And it gives me more damage to my signature as well as 3 speed, making me faster. Magneto's medallion, probably not the best one on him, but it had given me the chance to pick up orbs, and I was like, that's cool, I don't have to run near as far. But the main reason I got it was for the 155 damage to range powers and the 9.6 attack, since on my basic attack it gets more from the signature. The bow, it has extra damage to cooldown and it gives me a critical hit rating. He already had 6% crit on himself from his synergy and from his base talent himself, or his base trait. So those are the things that you want on your gear. You want to maximize it by what they're already giving you and his traits. Like over here, 5 intelligence. That was one of his main attributes, fighting and intelligence. I just happened to find a bunch of intelligence, so I said abandon fighting and I went with intelligence. Plus this had the damage rating to arrow and ranged, which is all of the powers I chose except for like the dash. Same thing with this. You want that 5 intelligence preferably. I know it comes in 3s, but if you can find the 5, that's what you want, and then just slowly alternate out to where you don't get something like the other thing on here that says when you pick up an orb, full spirit recovery. I don't think I've ran out of spirit on him since I got to level 50. So with the next one, I just got this one for the damage to arrow powers and the brutal damage rating. Basically, brutal damage is a crit within a crit, so it's extra damage, and the 12% attack speed. With this, the extra health and med kit is nice. Sometimes you get into the thick of it in an operation, you need a little more health and you need a little more healing. But the main reason why I kept it, that 5% intelligence, or that +5 intelligence. My ring, I think I got this out of a chest again, or a box or something, but I kept it for the critical damage rating, the arrow powers, and then +3 intelligence. Not to mention the cosmic part was pretty cool where it lifts them into the air. Basically it's like a hard CC where they can't attack you for 2 seconds. Flourish, just little fireworks, make them go off. Look pretty cool, right? Alright, so the artifacts I have on Cargill's Rewrite. If you're getting ready to go through trials for the first time, the top part doesn't help you. When defeated, begin dreaming. After dreaming, awaken the shadows at full health. So basically, if you're in trials and your health turns to 0, no matter what passive or talent you have on, you're gonna die and it's gonna make the trial say you lost. However, with this, Black Cat got released today and everyone's been saying that she can come back alive due to an innate passive that whenever she dies she gets 10% health. But that's not the reason why I got this. I got this for the bottom 2 portions, the +2 to all attributes, again stacking those primary attributes, making me stronger, and whenever I use my signature it knocks people back. Another hard CC. This one I got from the operation that was just released, and basically I got it for all the defense on the top and the +1 to all attributes. I haven't got the cosmic one yet, so one day. I have this one. I think I just got this out of the patrol whenever I was doing the super heroic patrols, getting ready to grind up to 60. So this one just gives me an attack speed and +1 intelligence. And whenever I lose or I'm down to 50% health and I get half the damage for 6,000 plus extra defense. That's huge if you get into the thick of it, because he's not like Nightcrawler or Deadpool where you can pop your signature and you can go back to full health. You actually have to play smart with him, and if you get down to 50%, your best guess is to dash away, use all your trick arrows that you can, and get back up to health like I showed you with the talents and skills. So I don't have a legendary item on him yet, but if I was to suggest one, I would say the Golden Bow of Apollo. That damage whenever you level it up to rank 5 would be ideal, allowing you to murder a bunch of people really fast on any difficulty. I don't have a relic because I think it was full and I turned it into the lady and I didn't get it back in the one I wanted because I picked the random relic crate, so that's unfortunate, but I didn't need it whenever I went through Cosmic Trials. But ideally you want the one that gives you an extra health and an extra range powers and the +1 to all attributes if you can turn it into her and get that one back from the random one, because he does range, so you want more range powers and the +1 to all attributes, i.e. stacking up that intelligence or fighting like I did, making you do more damage. Alright, so aside from this, if you do have infinity points and you're having a little bit of trouble, I'll just reset them and I'll show you what you could do to make it a little bit easier, make yourself more tanky. It's basically you put like 5 or 6 into this, maybe 10, because I have a little bit more of the infinity points, and then you just stack up the rest of your defense, making you more tanky. Plus, if I have more health, it's going to make Deadpool's synergy that it gives me, the 0.25, it's going to make it give me a little bit more since my base health is a little bit higher. Not required. You can, again, you can just put one into the speed one or fighting down here, and it just gives you a +1 to all attributes. Oh no, it just gives you a +1 to that, but it's up to you. If you're having trouble, try the durability option, try that, and if not, leave a comment and I'll help you as best I can. Now I'm going to show you the rotation. We're going to zoom out a little bit. Alright, we're going to target this guy. So I like to start out with explosive arrow and then 2 boomerang arrows. You see how it blew up? That's because of the talent where the boomerang arrow takes on the trick arrowhead effect. With this trick arrowhead that it's taking on is explosive, so it goes explosive, and it's like I cast another one for free and then another one for free. It's like I'm doing 3 explosive arrows, and sometimes the boomerang arrow will proc again on its return back to you, so it's like you get 4. See, it procced in the back right back there. Alright, after that I go to my back bar, charge up my rocket arrow all the way, get max damage, 70,000. Not bad. I've seen it like 125 before, but not great either. So, and then you'll do your triangle and your X. So, see that shrieking arrow? That's why it's not on my bar. I already have one through the other skills that I have selected. So explosive, boomerang, really fast, charge up the rocket, triangle X in your choice, and then once they're all gone, you throw out your signature and basic attack, allowing everything else to come up off a cooldown so you can get your rotation going again. Back to rocket, and do the other 2, and then you just basic attack while you're waiting for your cooldowns. You could throw out a boomerang, but see, no explosion. It's because you gotta wait, and you're doing that basic attack in between, waiting for the explosive arrow to get done on its charge, because it has a slower cooldown than the boomerang, and they get done like within a second of each other. So as soon as this explosive's done, start your other ones, and then you just go back through. Alright, so we're gonna let the explosive arrow charge up all the way, and we're gonna start so you guys can see it in fast real time. And then you throw out that, and then you just basic attack until everything comes up off a cooldown, and that is completed. And then it's just rinse and repeat from there. Alright guys, I'm going to take you into the patrol so you can see this in action up against some enemies. And we're teleporting. Let's see if it loads in right on time so we can do an event. Close enough. Where are they at? Far corner over here? I was in here trying to record earlier, that's why the map's all cleared up.
The blob ain't moving for nobody.
But basically you'll still lock on somebody like you would in a cosmic trial. And then, because if you don't lock on the boss, you're gonna just attack whoever, and then you're gonna end up sending your signature way away. And then your signature's not gonna hit anybody. And then you just keep attacking, doing all that damage. Oh, I can't see who I'm hitting. Oh, went outside. Yeah, the target must have fell off. Alright, just so you guys can see his ultimate, here it goes. Fires a big A on the ground. There's a squirrel coming in from a legendary here, you can't see it. Oh, I got stunned. See, there's one of the shields that I have. Come in handy. And I throw out my signature. It's as simple as that, you guys. You can still see my ultimate sometimes on the ground right there. Must not have charged up all the way. Charge up that rocket, and they're just gonna go down slowly here. Alright, see, look how I lost health. Alright, we're gonna use all of our trick arrowheads, and it's just gonna get us back up. See, I didn't even have to press my med kit after that. I just spammed everything I have because they all count as trick arrowheads, and it got me right back to full health, you guys. Alright, we're gonna keep them targeted. We're gonna finish this up before we end the video. Throw that out, and we're just basic attacking. I'll probably roll out of the fire before I die, and then it make this video look really bad. Yes, you are, Groot. Get to fighting, please. Help out. But, yeah, if you're in Cosmic Trial and you don't have the boss targeted, you're not going to do near the amount of DPS that you want to. Because once you target that boss, everything else takes his AoE damage, and they will go down. Maybe not before the boss, but I usually try and focus the boss down first, making it a lot easier. Once he's gone, like Mandarin, you don't have to worry about dodging his electric attacks, him shooting a missile at you or anything like that. It makes it so much easier, especially whenever Red Skull is gone. Come on. But yeah, as soon as Red Skull's gone, so much easier. And I just basic attack while I'm waiting on everything to come up off a cooldown. If you want, it's a little more advanced. You can switch back to the back bar while you're waiting on the front bar. They have lower cooldowns, at least the square and the triangle do. But it's up to you. It's a little more advanced and it takes a lot more coordination to pull off. And then whenever you see the back bar come up, you just finish it off like that. It increases your DPS, but I figured that it would be a little bit difficult and I didn't want to confuse people. Alright, dodge out of here, let's go. I'm still stunned for some reason, it's fun. Why is this taking so long? Usually everyone's dead by now. Oh, not a good Cosmic Trial or Cosmic Patrol run today. It happens. Look, medkit, use all of my stuff, and then I'm back up to 40% health, and it's just climbing from here. Well, event failed. We tried, but at least you guys got to see where the crossbones come from. Anyways, I'll kill him after I finish this video. We tried, and it didn't work, so can't win them all. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. This is Brian Fellows, and today we went over Hawkeye's build and rotation. Don't be shy, feel free to hit that like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. If I missed anything, please let me know. Throw out another build idea videos that you guys would like to see from me, and I'll get to them as quickly as possible. Right now I'm just trying to level up the rest of the characters and work on the synergies. Thank you.